जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना तीरावनचारी, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, verse number 27 and 28. So the verse is like this. Atha deshana pravakshyami dharmadishya avahan savai punyatamo desha satpatram yatra labhyate bimbam bhagavato yatra metacharacharam yattha brahmanakulam tapo vidyadayanvita. So the translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nada Muni said, it is a translation, now I shall describe the places where religious performances may be well executed. Any place where a Vaishnava is available is an excellent place for all auspicious activities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the support of the entire cosmic manifestation, with all its moving and non-moving living entities, and the temple where the deity of the Lord is installed is most sacred place. Furthermore, places where learned Brahmanas observe Vedic principles by means of austerity, education, and mercy are also most auspicious and sacred. Purport. In this verse, it is indicated that a Vaishnav temple where the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is worshipped and where Vaishnavas are engaged in service of the Lord is the best sacred place for performing any religious ceremonies. At the present day, especially in big cities, people live in small apartments and are not able to establish a deity or temple. Under these circumstances, therefore, the centers and temples being installed by expanding Krishna consciousness movement are the best sacred places for performing religious ceremonies. Although people in general are no longer interested in religious ceremonies or deity worship, the Krishna consciousness movement gives everyone the chance to advance in spiritual life by becoming Krishna conscious. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Subhadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitascha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kante Radha Kante Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So I'll read the translation once again. So here Shri Prabhupada is mentioning. The translation goes like this. Narad Muni continued, now I shall describe the places where religious performances may be well executed. Any place where a Vaishnava is available is an excellent place for all auspicious activities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the support of this entire cosmic manifestation, with all its moving and non-moving living entities, and the temple where the deity of the Lord is installed is the most sacred place. Furthermore, places where learned Brahmanas observe Vedic principles by means of austerity, education, and mercy are also most auspicious and sacred. Okay. So here we see that Srila Prabhupada, in this particular verse, he's highlighting deity worship, that how temples are so very important. And the first part of this particular verse, it highlights that anywhere where there is a presence of a Vaishnava, that place automatically becomes very, very auspicious for any kind of auspicious activity which we may want to do. Because the very lotus feet, which are full of mercy, which are abode of all mercy, the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, they cast out firstly anything which is inauspicious and bless everyone with auspiciousness. In Padma Puran, in the stories of Ekadashi Mahatmya, there comes one story where there was one very, very sinful person. And this very, very sinful person, who was actually a hopeless case, once he was just, he came to one ghat, one shore of a river, one bank of a river. So as he was drinking water, nearby there was one saint. He was taking bath, and he had just taken bath, and he had just come out of the river. And as he had just come out of the river, the water which was dripping from his body after taking bath, that water was now flowing. Now this water which was flowing, it just touched that most sinful guy. And just by the touch of the water which was dripping out of that saintly person's body, after touching this most sinful person, he became purified. And in his consciousness that he decided that I should be spiritual. I should devote myself to God. What am I doing? I'm so sinful. What am I doing in my life? I'm doing all kind of nefarious activities, sinful activities. What am I doing? And this way he started feeling guilty for all the sinful activities he was engaged in his life. So that is, we see just a touch of the Vaishnava. That makes everything so auspicious. In fact, once Srila Prabhupada, he was in airport, and Srila Prabhupada, he had to go and for a freshen up event. And since usually in airports there are no bathrooms, there are only toilets, but there are no bathrooms. So Srila Prabhupada, after clearing, so he had his lota, and from the wash basin he would fill in the water, and then would take the shower, would take bath. And this way, all over the place, there was all water, because Srila Prabhupada has taken bath there. There is no bathroom. So what to do? Srila Prabhupada will take bath after clearing. So there was all water all around. So the cleaner of that particular place, the toilet area and airport, so he came and said, "What have you done? Water all over the place." And immediately the disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he came. And Srila Prabhupada, he just walked away, walked off without any concern. And we just leave that. Well, I've just taken bath and just. And then that disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he took that water and sprinkled it on that cleaner and said, "This is Charnamrit. This is Charnamrit." After doing Abhishek of Krishna, or when we do when a devotee, a pure devotee of the Lord, has done the Abhishek, that is Charnamrit. And he took that water, sprinkled on him, sprinkled on himself as well. So when he sprinkled on that cleaner, he became angry. But when he saw that even this devotee has sprinkled on himself, so he was speechless that he has never seen such reverence, such an attitude towards the water, which is like now leftover water after taking bath. But that was the attitude which Srila Prabhupada's devotees they had for Srila Prabhupada, that Srila Prabhupada has taken bath, so this water is now Charnamrit. So that face the presence of the Vaishnava, that is the best. When the Vaishnavas are present, then everything becomes automatically auspicious just by their very presence. So that is what is being highlighted here in the first part of the verse. Now somebody may doubt, and come on, just by presence of a Vaishnava, everything becomes auspicious. And then the rest of the part of the verse, it explains further. It says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the support of the entire cosmic manifestation. Okay, so that is, yeah, entire cosmic manifestation is being maintained by, supported by Lord Himself. So that is, yeah, this place is also wonderful. But especially in this place, which is having its support on the Supreme Lord, there is also one more special place within this special place. There is even more special place. And what is that place? The temple where the deity of the Lord is installed is most sacred place. Other places may be sacred, but this is the most sacred place. And then apart from that, if you want to consider, okay, so that means only temples are the only auspicious place. There is no other auspicious place. So there's Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, of course, somebody just sent a message. Yes. So it is 7th canto, 14th chapter, verse number 28, 27, 28. So there is no other sacred place other than temple. They want to say this is such narrow-mindedness. You're not inclusive at all. You are so seclusive. Come on. And then verse goes further. It says, well, apart from that place, which is where the Lord's deity is being worshipped, furthermore, where the learned Brahmanas observe Vedic principles by means of austerity, education, and mercy, are also most auspicious and sacred. Usually, and Brahmanas, they do such activities within the temple, on the premises of the temple, but sometimes maybe away from the temple. Okay, so that place is also considered very, very auspicious. So it starts with the best place, which is the Vaishnavas. The presence of the Vaishnavas is the most auspicious place, actually. And then it comes to the discussion, okay, entire world is also good. Better than that is, of course, deities, they are also there. And those such brahmanas or devotees who are worshipping and when they are showering mercy or delivering Harikatha, so that place is also auspicious. So it gives a complete science of which is a good place. Like Bhagavad Gita, it talks about where we should do meditation. So Bhagavad Gita says that we should do meditation, which is it should be a holy place and a secluded place. Holy, secluded place. Now, Kali Yuga is such a contaminated Yuga that in Kali Yuga, holy places are not secluded and secluded places are not holy. In secluded places, we see people are doing all kinds of crazy activities. And those who are holy places, we see they are not secluded because there is a gush of people, flood of people there participating in various programs. So that case, we see that in Kali Yuga, to get a secluded holy place is very difficult. So what's the hope? Then Srila Prabhupada, he highlights in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that the temples of the Supreme Lord, they should be the place. They are the place, actually, where all kinds of spiritual activities, religious activities, they can be made, the temples. And that's why Srila Prabhupada used to say that our temples are not in Los Angeles, New York, London. Our temples are in Vaikuntha. I'm just traveling from one Vaikuntha to another Vaikuntha, Srila Prabhupada used to say. In fact, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his spiritual master, Gaur Krishna Babaji Maharaj, told him that never ever go to the Maya Nagari, Calcutta. Okay, never accept, do not associate with the materialistic people. Okay, and never accept disciples. Okay? But he did all the three. He went to Calcutta as well. He accepted disciples as well, and he opened. Yeah. So he said, never accept disciples, never associate with materialistic people, and never go to Maya Nagari, Calcutta. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, well, yes, I never go to Calcutta. I go to my temple, the which is in Bagh Bazaar temple, which is in Calcutta, and that is in Vaikuntha. So I do not go to Calcutta. I go to Vaikuntha. And then he said, okay, I never accepted disciples because I see that all these disciples are actually disciples of my spiritual master. So they're not my disciples. And that's why he would call them even Prabhu, because they are disciples. They are, of course, I might have initiated them, but actually they are disciples of Srila Gaur Krishna Babaji Maharaj. And he said, okay, now, and third one was never associate with materialistic people. He said, yes, I never associate with materialistic people. I give them my association. I do not take their association. So that way also I am following my spiritual master's instructions. But yes, we see that temples, they are so very important. Even though deity worship is a process which is meant for Dwapara people. Dwapara people used to become self-realized by deity worship. And Kali Yuga, the path of self-realization is by chanting the holy names. But we see that in Kali Yuga also we are doing deity worship. Why? Because it's a phase of transition. We make a transition from Dwapara Yuga to Kali Yuga. So this transition phase is for 10,000 years, where the deity worship as well as chanting of the holy names, both of them are happening simultaneously. That's the thing. And during these 10,000 years as well, gradually deity worship would slow down. It would reduce in its implementation and execution, and more Harinam Sankirtan would increase. But yes, deity worship would also go on parallelly. So that is, we are very fortunate that we are taking advantage of two processes, which one is the deity worship, which is in the Pancharatriki Vidhi, and there's Bhagavat Vidhi, which is Harinam Sankirtan, Shavanam Kirtanam. Wow. Okay, you may ask a question, but at the end of the lecture. But yes, you can type in your question. So then afterwards, I'll take your questions. So, like once I was hearing one lecture by Srila Radhanath Maharaj, he said, somebody asked, Maharaj, what makes the temple so vibrant? What makes the temple vibrant? And the Maharaj said, three activities makes the temple vibrant. If you want to make your center vibrant, if you want to make your center successful, your temple successful, if you're doing three activities very dexterously, with all absorption, in the highest quality, then your center would be successful. What are these three activities in the temple, which makes the temple very, very vibrant? He said, Hari Katha, Hari Nam, and Hari Puja. If you do Hari Puja, Hari Nam, Hari Katha, Hari Katha, Hari Nam, Hari Puja, Hari Puja, Hari Katha, Hari Nam. If you do these three activities very dexterously, with all absorption, with spiritual consciousness, very nicely, very sincerely, then the center would become automatically successful. Centers do not become successful just because there is a granite flooring. Centers do not become successful because there is a wooden flooring. Centers do not become successful because it is very, very elite and very aristocratically made temple. No. They are successful when the three activities are going on very nicely with all sincerity. Hari Katha, Hari Nam, Hari Puja. Hari Puja, Hari Nam, Hari Katha. Hari Katha, Hari Nam, Hari Puja. These three activities are the soul of the temple. What makes our ISKCON temples most vibrant in comparison to the rest of the world? There are many other temples as well. I'll not name them, but they are very beautifully made. Very, very beautifully made. In terms of architecture, they are superb. In terms of the quality of material being used, Italian marble. Wow, awesome. But such temples are nothing more than tourist spot. People come and see, wow, nice marble, nice granite, wow, wow, wow. And that's it. But no spiritual consciousness. Because these three activities are not happening in these temples. Like I used to go to Birla temple a long time back when I was staying at home. So there is Lord Krishna's temple. But mostly tourists come, but there is hardly any devotee. It could not make even a single devotee that particular temple. Why? Because these three activities are not there. And there are many such temples. So these three activities are very important in the temple. Once somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, we have seen your ISKCON temples. He was Vastu Shastra expert. He said, I see that your temples are not made as per Vastu Shastra. Temples should be there as per Vastu Shastra. Otherwise, positive energy would go out and negative energy would get in if we do not follow Vastu Shastra. So we should follow Vastu Shastra. So which direction there should be entrance, which direction should be the deities, which direction we should sit, which direction we should sleep, which direction we should eat. Vastu Shastra. And then Srila Prabhupada said, well, our Vastu Shastra is very simple. Our Vastu Shastra is Itto Narsimha, Parto Narsimha. Yatto Yatto Yami Tato Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha. Hridaye Narsimha. Narsingha Madim Sharanam Pravate. That's our Vastu Shastra. Here is Narsingadev. there is Narsingadev. Wherever I see, there is Lord Narsingadev. Outside, there is Lord Narsingadev. In my heart, there is Lord Narsingadev. I completely take shelter of the one who provides all auspiciousness, Lord Narsingadev ki jai. So when here, there, everywhere, there's Lord Narsingadev, how come negative energy would get in and how come positive energy would go out? So our Vastu Shastra is very simple, Srila Prabhupada said. Once somebody also asked Srila Prabhupada, he said that I see many of your temples there is no gong bell outside. Usually in traditional temples in Sanatana Dharma, there's a bell outside. Ton and that way, and then people enter. But there are many ISKCON temples, there is no bell. Ton. And then Srila Prabhupada said, well, in Kalyuga, the bell which is there, which works actually, is this bell. It's a bell, and there is in the center there is a metallic piece, so that way there is a tongue. So instead of ton, there should be Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This bell works actually. So that is Kalyuga. That's the bell. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada could tell that actually, instead of this external rituals, of course, if they are there, appreciated, they are there. In many of these ISKCON temples, bells are there. But most important is that when we have Harinam Sankirtan happening in the temple, that's very important. So we see that in Kalyuga, people question deity worship, even though it is so effective. And people question deity worship, that how can you worship a stone as a deity, as an idol? This is idolatry. Or like as Muslims say, it is Vyut Parasti. It is shirk. Shirk means, that's like in our culture, there is sin and there is offense. Similarly, in Islam, there is guna and there is shirk. Guna means there is a sin, but high quality sin is shirk. So deity worship, which they call as idolatry, is actually shirk, which is greater sin actually. There is no idol. Okay, all right. So that even Christians also, they say, okay, there should be no idolatry. But if they have the figures of Mother Mary, they also have figures of Jesus Christ, and they are praying to Jesus Christ as well. It's there. So all those who criticize deity worship on the name of idolatry or idol worship, doll worship, stone worship, or whatever, so they also, in a way, they do deity worship. I met one Muslim guy in train when I was traveling to Delhi from Kanpur. So we had a discussion on this deity worship. So he said, well, ultimately it's just stone. It's like there's a stone in a marble shop. It's a stone in your temple. That's it. It is stone. That's it. How can you worship stone? Come on. So I said, okay, just in case if I got Quran, in case I have got Quran with me, and so would you respect this book, Quran? So, yeah, of course, Quran is Quran Pak. But I said, okay, but actually Quran, if you see, Quran is just it is just pages. Just like we have any other book, there are newspapers, there are other books like say 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or book and ink. Quran Sharif is also book, pages, and ink. So that way they are just same. Will you take 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey and touch it to your head? No, of course not. But Quran you would do. Why? There is cover, it is cover. It is page, it is page. It is ink, it is ink. Same. It's same. And then for a while he was quiet. But since he was a preacher, he was an Islamic preacher, so he got another logic. He said there is difference between paying respect and worshipping. You are worshipping. You are worshipping them. You should not worship. You are pay respect. By touching Quran Sharif to our heads, we are just respecting. So one may offer respect, but not worship. But actually, worshipping is also a way of giving respect. I told him. When usually we express respect in a different way with different people. Like for example, there are elderly people, we touch their feet, we give our respect. Those who are friendly people, we may hug them, or make even punch them lovingly, or even slap them lightly, mildly, because there is friendship. And those who are junior, we bless them by we touch their heads and we bless them. So there is a different way of showing respect to different individuals. So that is when we are worshipping, that is also a way of giving respect. So how can you say that this is not respect? We are offering respect like this only. You can also say, well, just from distance, you can say, oh, Quran, okay, respect. But you have a way of offering respect, touching to your head. That is, we offer respect to the deities. And when you also go to Kaaba, so that's also, we can say it's a figure made up of some bricks and stones and cement. But every year people go to but Makkah, Medina, they go there. Why? And then he was actually quiet. He was quiet. So there are many such people who actually follow, in a way, directly or indirectly, deity worship. They do that. They do that. But they may condemn. Why? Because it's an arrangement of the Lord that actually in Kaluga, Harinam should be the only practice now left. So gradually deity worship is to reduce. So that case, all we see that there are even movies criticizing the figures of the Lord in the temple. There are there. But actually, logically speaking, everyone worships directly or indirectly a deity. I saw even when I went to uh, one place, there was one Arya Samaji family, following Arya Samaj, and they do not follow Murti Puja or deity worship, or they call it all idolatry. But they do yagyas, swaha, swaha, swaha. So I said, how come this yagya is divine? He said, well, it's the mouth of the Lord. I said, how come it's the mouth of the Lord? It is just bricks, it's just cement, and that's it. And you're putting all these ingredients, these bananas and different yagya ahutis and swaha swaha. It's just made up of bricks and cement. That's it. By using maybe some mud, some cow dung. Come on. So please, don't disrespect. This is actually divine. This is yagya. Just like this, these bricks and mud and all, this is divine. Okay. Similarly, the deities form of the Lord, whether they are in the form of from stone or granite or say even from fiber, when there is prana pratishtha, then actually the Lord Himself is here. Just like there's a piece of paper, if I take a piece of paper, if I tear it very mercilessly into pieces, if I do that, then would you feel pain? No. But in case if I do the same activity, if I deal with in a similar way with a currency note, then of course it would be so much, it would be an objectionable activity. What are you doing? But it is also paper, How come in one, if I crumble it, if I tear it into pieces, there is no pain being felt. But in another case where there is a currency note, I feel pain. Why? Because this currency note has passed through the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, or say any kind of like authority in their respective countries. This piece of paper has now gone through that printing press of an authority, and that is now, it is not just a piece of paper, it is currency note. And currency note is being dealt in a different way than a piece of paper. Similarly, there can be marble, of course, there can be marble, and there are marble deities as well. But marble deities, when this prana pratishtha happening, after prana pratishtha, then we respect not just as a symbol, in fact, but the Lord Himself is present in this deity form after prana pratishtha. The Lord Himself is there. Even something is symbolic, we respect. Something symbolic. For example, my parents' photograph. My parents' photograph is symbolic to my parents. They are not my parents. It is just a photograph developed in silver chloride solution. We develop from the negatives, and then that comes to surface. That's it. Even if we see that here is a symbol of my parents, but still I respect it. Even though they are not my parents, it is just a photograph of my parents. That's it. The Lord's deities, they are not just a symbol. Lord Himself is there in the deities. So that means how much respect we should give to the deities who are present there in the form of the deity. Actually, the Lord Himself is there. And the Shastras, they also explain that how for a conditioned soul, the deities are the most accessible part. It's the most accessible aspect for connecting with the divinity. Like the Lord's form, which is the Adi Rupa, which is Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. Is He accessible to us? No. The Paravyom form, which is Vasudev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna, are they accessible to us? No. The Narayan forms in the Vaikuntras, are they accessible to us? No. The Purusha forms The Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, are they accessible to us? No. Lord's form is Paramatma in the heart. Is he accessible to us? No. And which aspect of the Lord is accessible to us? The deity form of the Lord is accessible to us. We can see the Lord with these mundane eyes. Also, the Lord is there. We can't see with these eyes Paramatma. We can't see Purushottama. We can't see the Lord of Vaikuntha or Lord of Goloka. We can't see with these eyes. But with these eyes, we can see a very special form of the Lord who manifests himself as the deity. As a deity. So that way it is most accessible, and that way it is very merciful form. One thing which usually comes to those who object to deity worship, they say, well, even there were Mughals who attacked India and they destroyed so many temples. They destroyed so many of the deities. That form of God, which cannot even protect himself, how can that form of the Lord can protect me? When that Lord who is standing and there's a fly sitting on his flute, he cannot make fly away that fly which is sitting on the flute. How can that Lord cast away miseries of my life? Who cannot even move a fly which is sitting on him? Come on. This is all sentimentalism. This is all doll worship. This is all crazy thing, you know? Come out of this. And of course, there are people like Zakir Naik, they would also quote verses from the Shastras. Shadashadra Upanishad, chapter number 4, verse number 33. Natasya pratima asti. The form of the Lord has got no image, no idol, no painting, no sketch, no this, no that, no statue. So this is what he used. But actually, the real meaning of Natasya pratima asti is there is no comparison of the Lord. There is no one who can be compared to the Lord. Like, for example, I cannot say, well, Lord Krishna is 1,000 times more handsome than Keanu Reeves. I cannot say that. That's the way I'm comparing. I cannot say, well, Lord Krishna is 1,00,000 times more handsome than Tom Cruise. I cannot say that. Now I'm comparing. Lord is incomparable, actually. Incomparable. That's the meaning of Natasya pratimasti. There is no comparison of the Lord. There is no comparison. Not that the Lord cannot manifest himself as Vigraha. Usually the word pratima has got different application in Hindi and different application or different meaning in Sanskrit actually. It means no comparison. The Lord has got no comparison at all. His wisdom has got no comparison. His beauty has got no comparison. His knowledge has got no comparison. His renunciation has got no comparison. His fame has got no comparison. No comparison at all. Incomparable. Natasya pratima asti. So when such people, when they object that how come they were Mughal invaders, they attacked India, and there are many other in the past as well. People invaded temples and they destroyed them. How can the Lord's temple be destroyed when Lord himself is there? As for you, the sentimental Hindus, well, how can Lord be manifest in the deity and that case can't even save himself? So there are various reasons why certain temples are destroyed, the deities are demolished. Why? How? Actually, it is by the will of the Lord. If the Lord's, as per Lord's will, if Lord can manifest in a deity, by Lord's will, Lord can also unmanifest from the deity because Lord is independent. So he can manifest in a deity, he can unmanifest from the deity. That's independence. Okay. Now, another reason is that when a certain temple is not worshipping, or certain pujaris or devotees, they are not worshipping the deity properly. So Lord unmanifest from the deities and let some other person come and demolish the temple. Well, it can be some kind of municipal corporation, it can be some kind of city authority, or it can be some Muslim invader, whatever, they destroy that temple. Like, for example, when Aurangzeb, he attacked Vrindavan. From Agra, he could see the temple of Madan Mohanji. And he asked his minister, how come I can see that lamp which is shining, and that lamp is shining above the height of our palace? How come? And that minister said, well, Lord, actually that's actually lamp glowing on the top of Madan Mohan temple in Vrindavan. Said, oh, a temple is having height greater than our palace. Tomorrow morning we'll move towards Vrindavan and we'll destroy this temple. Now from Agra and Vrindavan, it's like if somebody starts walking since in morning and by evening he will reach Vrindavan easily. So he kept on walking, and then he had to stop, had a camp, overnight, took rest. Again, next morning started walking. Again, there was night, took rest. Now he's not walking on foot, he was walking on his chariot, he was having his horses, and that is he was going towards Vrindavan. Now, entire week passed, he is not able to enter Vrindavan. So he prayed to then Allah. Allah is, of course, Krishna, ultimately Supreme Lord. Allah Akbar, the greatest of all, is Lord Krishna. So that is Lord Krishna, same as Allah as well. He prayed to Allah that, Allah, please allow me to enter this place, Vrindavan, please let me be in there. And Lord allowed him. So meanwhile, during this period when Aurangzeb was moving towards Vrindavan, so devotees have moved Govind Dev Ji to Jaipur. So Lord had a desire to move from this temple to another temple. So Govind Dev Ji got installed there. Okay. And then, but Radharaman Ji, he wanted to stay in Vrindavan. So even though Aurangzeb came to Vrindavan, but he could not do anything to the temple of Radharaman Ji. So that is, Lord is independent. In case he wants to stay, even Aurangzeb, people like Aurangzeb, they may come, they cannot do anything. But Lord can have his plans to move from one place to another place as well, because he wants to shower his mercy on the Rajputs of Rajasthan. So Govind Dev Ji moved to Jaipur. And there is Raja Jai Singh, who are great Vaishnavas, kings. So Govind Dev Ji wanted to bless them. So Lord can do, engage these people who attack the temples. So that case, when they are able to attack, it's by the will of the Lord. Okay, it's by the will of the Lord. And then also one more thing, that how come Lord doesn't do on himself something? Because he shows dependency. If God doesn't have a form which doesn't show dependency, which does not show dependency, it's an incompleteness of the Lord, not completeness. It is incompleteness of the Lord. Lord must have one form which shows dependency. At the same time, independent, but show dependency. So why does God need to have a form which shows dependency? The deity form. Who wakes up the Lord? The devotees. Who dresses the Lord? The devotees. Who feeds the Lord? The devotees. Who makes him take rest? The devotees. Okay. So he's showing dependency on the devotees. So in case the Lord is showing dependency on the devotees, how come and why? Why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? So a Lord does this to invoke affection in the heart of the devotee. Just like we see when children, when they exhibit dependency on the mother showers extra affection on them. And that is, the mother becomes so much attached to the child because the child is showing dependency on the mother. Mama, who will wake me up? You. Mama, who will feed me? You. Mama, who will take me from this place to another place? You. Mama, who will pamper me? You. Mama. And that was when the child says mama, and on this broken language of the child is so overwhelming for the mother, that mother becomes attached to the child because the child is showing dependency on the mother. Similarly, when Lord shows dependency on the devotee becomes more and more attached to the Lord. That I am to feed the Lord, I am to cook for the Lord, I am to dress the Lord. This feeling that, okay, I am to serve my Lord, because now Lord is showing dependency on me. Even though Lord is independent, but he is exhibiting dependency to invoke affection in the heart of the devotee. So that means Lord showing dependency in the form of the deities is not his weakness, is not that Lord is lacking something. That complements the completeness of the Lord, because there is one form which exhibits dependency. The Lord is dependent. And the purpose of showing this dependent form is to invoke love and affection in the heart of the devotee who is serving the deities actually. And that is, we see that there are many devotees who regularly serve the deities with their heart and soul. They have this connection with Krishna. They are able to feel that, yes, I'm Krishna Das. I'm servant of my Lord. They have such feeling. I know one of my devotee friend, he has got deities of Radha Madhav. So I told him, Prabhu, wow, you have got Radha Madhav. Radha Madhav in Mayapur. Your deities are expansion of Radha Madhav in Mayapur. He said, no, Prabhu, no. Here is Radha Madhav. There is expansion of these Radha Madhav. So he had such feelings for his deities. Actually. And of course, we should have such deities, such feelings for the deities that, oh Lord, oh, you are there. Yes, you are here with me. Thank you so much. You descended to bless me. Thank you so much. So kind of you. Like that. Srila Prabhupada also had the deities of Radha Govind right from his very childhood. So he would worship the deities along with his sister, Bhavatarani. So deity worship is so very important. And we see that there's one very beautiful example of Chandidas, whose poems Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear. Chandidas became devotee. How? Earlier he was a devotee of Chandi. So that way his name was Chandidas. So Chandidas, so his brother used to worship Lord Krishna. So in the same temple, there was a deity of Durga, Chandi, and there were also deities of Lord Krishna. So, but he would offer his agarbatti to only Chandi, not to Krishna. And when he would offer this agarbatti to Durga or Chandi, when he's doing that, so the fragrant smoke would also go towards Krishna. And it is going towards Krishna, so he would use his hand. It is not for you, it is for Chandi. Smoke come this way. Yes, not for you, that's for Chandi. And then he would offer the agarbatti, and then, that's not for you, that's for Chandi. And Lord Krishna one day manifested to him. And when he saw Lord Krishna, he was aghast, he was stunned, seeing the beauty of the Lord. He said, I'm very happy with you, Lord Krishna said. But Chandidas said, but actually I worship Chandi Devi. How come you are pleased with me? And Lord Krishna said, I'm pleased with you because you do not see the deity, you see me in the deity. And that way you see this fragrant smoke is not for you. That's for my Chandi Devi, my Ishta Devi, not for you. So that means he doesn't see that he's just a stone figure or Sangi Marma or some marble. No. He sees that Lord Krishna is here and this smoke would be accepted by him. So now there's not for him, there's for Chandi. So but this conception he had that here is Lord Krishna. God himself is here. He's not even a deity or a symbol or a doll or a statue. No. Lord himself is there. So he was very clear about this statue and deity. He was very clear about that. That Statue of Liberty doesn't have the liberty to go outside the island, the Staten Island. But she's Statue of Liberty. So what kind of statue? But here is not a statue, but here is a deity. And Chandidas had such feelings, and that phase, Lord Krishna, he once manifested himself to Chandidas. And this way, after taking blessings of Lord Krishna, he became a Vaishnava and wrote such wonderful poems that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to relish those poems. All right, I'll stop here now. I'll just take few questions. Okay. So maybe in chat window there are questions. Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you for your as you are quite famous for the blend of humor and Siddhanta, but few say that there must be only pure Krishna. Acha. Any comments on that, Prabhu? How you got the idea to preach in this way? How much is it successful and how much to take balanced approach in humor and Siddhanta? Okay, very good question actually. Whether so humor should be included or not. In my opinion, humor should not be included. When either of the speaker or of the listeners, either of them is a liberated soul. The speaker is a liberated soul or the audience is liberated soul, or both are liberated. But at least one of them should be liberated. And then humor is not required. Like for example, Shukdev Goswami and Parishit Maharaj. Liberated soul, both are liberated. Okay. Shaunak Rishi and all the other rishis and Suta Goswami. Suta Goswami, liberated soul. But and the rishis, there are people who are not liberated. But the speaker is liberated. So here Suta Goswami also doesn't have to use humor. All right. And like we see in case of Shri Radha Govind Maharaj, here we have in ISKCON, we have Radha Govind Maharaj. He's a liberated soul. So he doesn't have to use humor. Even though in the audience they are not liberated. But in case the speaker is also not liberated and the audience is also there, they're also not liberated, then sometimes we need humor. And humor should also be the one, not Santa Banta jokes, but humor should also be complementing Siddhanta. Like Srila Prabhupada used to use humor. If somebody has listened to Srila Prabhupada's lectures nicely, I have listened to more than 80 to 90% of Srila Prabhupada's lecture, because after my college, during my college days, after my college day, my college is over, I would come to my home and listen to Srila Prabhupada's lecture, and I'm drinking a glass of milk. That was my routine. So during all those 4 years, I listened to almost 80-90% of Srila Prabhupada's lectures. Srila Prabhupada used humor many times. Like for example, once he said, so we tell people chant, and then they say can't, and then everyone in the audience, they laugh. It's there on YouTube. In fact, on YouTube, if you change Srila Prabhupada, chant, 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 can't, you'll get that video. And then he cracks the same joke again. But we tell people chant, 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 and then they say can't. They had one cartoon in the newspaper which mentioned, which is Garfield actually, that he's telling people chant, 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 and people saying can't. And sometimes he would have say the sounds of the vehicles. We see so many vehicles on in cities. Vroom, vroom. Srila Prabhupada would use all these. It's actually all part of humor. But we cannot criticize Srila Prabhupada. If I criticize Srila Prabhupada, I will. But after Srila Prabhupada, if somebody uses humor, then they criticize. Just see, this person is using humor. But yes, if everything can be employed in Krishna's service, why not humor? Of course, it should be in limits. Not that entire lecture is just humor, 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 and there is no Siddhanta at all. But in order to explain Siddhanta, there can be humor. Why not? And humor that complements Siddhanta, as I said. So it's not that, no. But why have to have humor? Those who say that they should pure Harikatha, okay? Those say that they should pure Harikatha. When there's pure Harikatha, just see the condition of the audience, the dozing off. In this way, they hear Bhagavatam class. Wow. But when we add some humor, so they laugh. So some oxygen goes inside. And then some Siddhanta. And then as soon as they are going down, and then another joke. And then again they are enlivened, and then some Siddhanta. So in this way, we use humor so that people can stay awake, and then Siddhanta feeding Siddhanta 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again humor so that there is oxygen. They laugh, more oxygen came. And now Siddhanta. So when there is pure Harikatha, just see the condition of people when there is pure Harikatha. People have such sound sleep. My God. So that phase, we should include humor. In my opinion, we should. And we should see that nowadays, since like our media is making people so much addicted to humor. So many humorous programs are happening on television. So people have become addicted to humor. So if there is absolutely no humor, it is hard for people to connect to just Siddhanta. When there's little humor, they connect, and then things move. And how much is it successful? Well, I'll not praise myself, but you will see that my videos are so much successful, not because I'm speaking some extraordinary Siddhanta. I'm speaking the same thing which other devotees are saying. Same thing. It is just that I make my classes more animated. I make my classes more graphical. I make my classes full of stories. I make my classes with humor. That's it. And this is just to connect sambandha. And then comes abhidaya and prayojan. So for Siddhanta, there's abhidaya and prayojan. But for connect, there is humor actually. Humor. And even Siddhanta, of course, people connect to Siddhanta as well. But humor is there to glue people, because people are dull-headed in Kali Yuga. People are dull-headed. So they get just lost. That's why. So in my opinion, that is in a balanced way, we can use humor. Humor which complements Siddhanta. Not just, okay, let me make you hear some kind of joke, which I heard in Reader's Digest. Of course not. So humor can be included. Of course, one has to be sensitive. Not while using humor, I may not make fun of some person. No, that's very important. It should be in a way that there is humor. That's it. But not making fun of something or someone. That also people do not appreciate. When we are making fun of someone, so that we should avoid. But yes, humor can be used.
Thank you, Bhai. So, ji, like there are many questions. Like if you want, I can read it out, like some selected questions, or like
Yeah, sure.
you
All
can
right.
read.
Do that. Please,
You can
please.
read this way. So, the question from Ayush Prabhu, like if someone is reading only scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Ramcharitmanas, but
Hmm.
not involved in the chanting of the Lord, will it be helpful for one?
If somebody is not reading or reading,
Reading Bhagavad Gita or Ramcharitmanas, but not
uh-huh.
chanting. So, it will be helpful for him? Like,
No.
is it
It
sufficient
would be
for him
helpful.
to?
It would be helpful because one would get immense amounts of pious merits. Because even Ramcharitmanas, that's also pure Ram Katha, and Bhagavad Gita is also it's pure Krishna Katha, which means Krishna is doing Katha. So Krishna Katha. So one would get immense amount of pious merits, immense amounts of pious merits. But if somebody has actually gone through Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna is also saying Satatam Kirtyanto Mam, then why is he not doing chanting? That means he's not really following Bhagavad Gita. That means his reading is very ritualistic. Ritualistic. So Lord Krishna is saying Satatam Kirtyanto Mam. Do that. He's saying that. So do. So we should do. But when he's saying that, like Ramcharitmanas also has got so many stories about the glories of Lord Ram. So one should chant the names of God. If he's not chanting, that means not really reading actually. It's like some kind of intellectual entertainment. Bhagavad Gita is for intellectual entertainment. Ramcharitmanas is for intellectual entertainment. Why? Is it so? No. So one should actually chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra after reading them. Otherwise, it is all ritualistic. It's just a formality.
Okay, thank you, Guruji, for your kind answer. Another question, like, is it okay to, is it appropriate to tell the people miracles? Otherwise, it is better to keep within oneself. Like another
Yeah.
question from Himanshu Prabhu.
Actually, miracles attract less intelligent people. Now you'll see that other religions, they work on miracles, curing those who are suffering, who are having some kind of illness, ailments, and then they put cross on them, and then this person recovers. Of course, it is all dramatized, but there are people who then accept Christianity, seeing these kind of miracles, which are actually dramatized, nothing else. But they take to Christianity. But actually, you'll see less intelligent people, they get attracted to miracles. Intelligent people, they get attracted to Siddhanta. Sri Prabhupada never focused on miracles, even though in his life there were miracles. He had many miraculous things and leelas, Sri Prabhupada. Many leelas. But he focused on Siddhanta because he wanted intelligent class of people to join his movement. And ultimately, succession will happen when intelligent people will join our movement. Less intelligent people, they cannot create succession. Succession is by intelligent class. So we should present Siddhanta. We should not focus on miracles. But yes, since there are pastimes of Lord Krishna who are miraculous, that we must describe. Miraculous pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, we must describe. But miracles in terms of our miracles, your and my miracles, and how, I was there, and I opened my eye, then Krishna was there, and then tears started flowing. I was in air for a while. I could see, how come I'm flying in air? And Krishna said, because I love you so much, darling. That's why you're flying in air with me. And then I just in a blink, I could see that now I'm descending, and I was again on earth. Krishna said, I blessed you. You will go back to Godhead because you flew in air with me. Yes, it was just a trailer. Why? It may attract some less intelligent class of people, but not intelligent class of people.
Okay, thank you, Guruji. Like, if time allows for you, 2 questions are there.
Yeah, sure.
Is it
Let's
okay?
take 2 questions. Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, another question, Guruji, like, if body is dead lump of matter, then how, when one dies, soul leaves, and his organ transplant and organs start working again?
Okay. Actually, organs, this body is a circuit. Just like in a circuit board, there are diodes, there are resistors, there are ICs. They do not have life. Actually, they cannot work on their own until unless electricity flows through them. Then they start functioning in a way they are expected. Similarly, in the body, it's all hardware actually. Somewhere heart is being fixed, and then the lungs and all that hardware. But until unless there is current of consciousness flowing, they cannot work properly. Similarly, say for example, somebody's diode, which is heart, say for example, say resistor, is malfunctioning. So I replace it with another hardware with somebody's heart transplant. So again, it starts functioning. Reason being, the current is there, the current of consciousness. That's why we see that even the dead matter is being replaced by another dead matter, but it starts functioning because consciousness is flowing. So we can understand this with simple example of electrical hardware. What is like hardware? Yantra rudhani maya, as Krishna says in the Gita. So it's yantra, it's kind of yantra. Rudhani maya. So that way, Maya ka banawa, this is all Maya made yantra. That's it. In yantra, one particular hardware can be replaced by another hardware. It still keeps on functioning because there is current of consciousness.
Thank you, Guruji. Last question, like, when Mataji asked, like, भगवान का तिलक कब हटाना चाहिए, मतलब हटाना भी चाहिए या फिर नहीं, और मॉर्निंग या इवनिंग
Okay, usually like
relevant.
the deities when they have tilak, so sometimes they have already painted the tilak like that. But like in our temples, when we have the deities, then we have painted the tilak like that. But in case you have the deities and you want to apply tilak every day, that's perfectly fine. But usually tilaks are already there. Like the temples in our temple, when we have the deities, Utsav Vigrahas, so we actually have natural paints and we get all the tilaks on the body of the Lord. Like that. But in terms of dressing, we do. We have new cloths every day of the Lord. But tilaks are already there. But in case you want to have tilak, then of course deities should be big enough so that you can have a nice tilak. Otherwise, in case the deities are small, then it would be then one has to be very, very articulate in getting the tilak done. So it can be every day. As soon as you make Krishna take bath, in case you are doing abhishek and all that, so then the old tilak is now wiped out and the new tilak can be applied after the dress, after putting the dress on, then tilak.
Hare Krishna.
But usually it is recommended that we should have already the painted tilak. That's best.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving your precious
Right.
association despite of your busy schedule. And you're supposed to come this year to visit Ujjain, but unfortunately because of this COVID. But we are hoping soon you will get your personal association also.
Someday
And
I'll come to take care of it.
let us thank Prabhuji for giving his wonderful association by one time loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare.
His Grace Amoghalila Prabhuji.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnava Bhakta ki jai, ISKCON Ujjain ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.